Have you ever found yourself wondering if she feels the same way about you, but just can't say it? You talk, you laugh, maybe you even flirt a little, but something always feels unspoken, like there's a secret hiding between her words and glances. You start overanalyzing every moment, every smile, every silence. Sound familiar? Before we dive into the mystery, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're into decoding love, relationships, and everything in between. Stick around till the very end, because just recognizing one of these signs could change everything in your love life. No joke. All right, let's get real. I want to start by telling you about a friend of mine. Let's call him Jake. Jake had known Emily for 3 years. They met in college, became close friends, always there for each other. Late night calls, coffee runs, study sessions. If you didn't know better, you'd think they were already a couple. But here's the thing, Emily never said anything. No grand confessions, no obvious moves. Jake always thought, if she felt the same, wouldn't she just say it? Well, not necessarily. What Jake didn't know, and what so many of us miss, is that love doesn't always show up with a neon sign. Sometimes it whispers, softly, secretly. So today I'm going to give you 15 clear signs that she might be secretly in love with you, but scared to admit it. These are subtle but powerful, and once you see them, you can't unsee them. Let's go. Sign number 1, her eyes linger a second too long. Have you ever caught someone looking at you just a moment longer than expected, and when your eyes met, she looked away almost guilty? There's something intimate about eye contact, something ancient and emotional that words can't replace. It's one of the first ways we connect, truly connect with someone. Let me tell you about Arjun and Meera. They worked in the same office, on different teams. Polite conversations, shared elevator rides, casual smiles in the break room, that was their routine. Arjun always thought Meera was sweet but distant, nothing more. Until one afternoon in a meeting, while the rest of the room was focused on a whiteboard full of sales charts, he felt a strange sensation and turned. Meera was looking at him, not just glancing, but looking. Her eyes softened the moment they met his. There was no smirk, no embarrassment, just a kind of quiet curiosity. But it lasted just a beat too long. Then she looked away, her face flushed as she focused on her notes. That was the first time Arjun noticed, and from then on, it kept happening. During coffee breaks over shared jokes, even from across the room, Meera's gaze would find him. Not in a creepy or intense way. It was gentle, intentional, like she was reading a language only he spoke. When someone looks at you like that, it's not random. That lingering gaze is a crack in the armor. It's her way of saying, I see you, and I want you to see me too. Because here's the truth. People don't stare at what they don't care about. Her eyes will reveal the emotion she's too scared to voice, especially if she's afraid of rejection or of changing the dynamic between you. So if you notice her gaze isn't casual, if it holds something deeper, like hope, longing, or even pain, pay attention. It might be the bravest thing she's doing without ever saying a word. Sign number 2, she remembers the smallest details. Do you remember every little thing a casual friend tells you? Probably not. But when you care deeply about someone, when you love them in secret, you remember everything, every tiny thing. That's what happened with Tasha and Ryan. They were part of the same friend group. Ryan once mentioned in a throwaway conversation that when he was a kid, he was obsessed with space. He had a telescope, knew every planet, and dreamed of being an astronaut. It was just a funny childhood anecdote, one of those things you share and forget. But a few months later, for his birthday, Tasha handed him a small wrapped box. Inside was a vintage NASA pin and a note, for the boy who never stopped looking up. Ryan was floored, not just by the gift, but by the fact that she remembered. No one else had. Love pays attention. It listens in silence. It stores details, not to use them as leverage, but to create connection. To show, I see you. I value you. When a girl brings up things you forgot you told her, your favorite band, the movie that made you cry, the brand of cereal you liked as a kid, those aren't just facts. They're emotional bookmarks. She's saving pages in her mind where you appear, because to her, those moments matter. So don't overlook it when she brings you your favorite drink without asking, or references a conversation from months ago. That's not coincidence. That's love with a memory. Sign number 3. She gets nervous around you, but only sometimes. Love has a way of shaking even the most confident people. You can be bold in every other area of life, but when you're near someone who stirs something deeper, Suddenly you're a mess of nerves. Take Devika, for example. Outgoing, sharp, the life of any group she walked into. She could command a room like a stage performer. But when Arav was around, her voice got softer. Her laugh sounded different. She would play with her hair, avoid direct eye contact, or suddenly forget what she was saying mid-sentence. Arav thought she just didn't like him, that she was bored or uninterested. But the truth was the opposite. When someone secretly loves you, they're constantly battling between wanting to be close and being afraid of what that closeness might mean. Fear of rejection, fear of vulnerability, it all bubbles beneath the surface. You'll notice moments when she's completely herself around everyone, but seems unsure, hesitant, or awkward only with you. That inconsistency isn't confusion. It's emotional intensity. Because love isn't always smooth. Sometimes it's clumsy. Sometimes it's a girl laughing at a joke too hard, or getting quiet when things get too real. If you see her shift when you're near, not in a bad way, but in a beautifully uncertain one, chances are, her heart's louder than her words. Sign number 4. Her friends tease her when you're around. Sometimes, the biggest clues aren't in what she says or does, but in how her friends react when you walk in the room. Let me tell you about Theo and Anya. They were close. Not quite best friends, but enough to hang out regularly. Group projects, weekend movies with friends, the usual stuff. But Theo began noticing something strange. Every time he showed up, Anya's friends would smile, in a certain way. You know the one, that sly, knowing smirk, like they were watching something unfold before their eyes. Once when he sat beside Anya during a party, her friend Priya gave her a playful elbow and whispered something that made Anya blush instantly. Another time when he offered her a ride home, 2 of her friends giggled like schoolgirls before conveniently finding other rides. It wasn't loud or obvious, but it was telling. Because friends? They notice what others don't. They see the late-night texts, hear the tone when she talks about you, watch her light up when your name pops up on her phone, and when someone's hiding a crush or a deep, unspoken love, their closest circle usually knows. Sometimes they tease, sometimes they drop hints, sometimes they step back to let something blossom. So if her friends are nudging her when you're near, or suddenly teasing her in ways they don't with other guys, ask yourself, what do they see that I haven't noticed yet? In many cases, they're seeing what she's too afraid to say, that you're more than just a friend in her eyes. Sign number 5, she mirrors your movements. Ever caught someone casually mirroring the way you sit? Fold your arms or even take a sip of your drink right after you do? It might seem like coincidence, but it's not. Psychologists call it mirroring, when it's one of the most powerful signs of connection and attraction. Let's rewind to Ravi and Nisha. They were working on a project, together at a local community center. One day, as Ravi explained something to a group, he noticed Nisha copying his gestures, crossing her legs when he did, leaning forward when he leaned in, tilting her head at the same angle. He thought it was weird at first, until he started paying attention. It kept happening. It wasn't forced or deliberate. It was natural, like their bodies were in sync without them realizing it. When you secretly love someone, your subconscious tries to create alignment, to build rapport. Mirroring is how we say, I feel what you feel, without saying anything at all. And it's not just body language, it can be energy, speech patterns, even laughter. If she mirrors you consistently, especially in more emotional or vulnerable moments, that's her subconscious trying to bond. She may not even realize she's doing it. So watch her posture, her gestures, even her breathing. If it often matches yours, her heart might already be moving in rhythm with yours. Sign number 6, she's jealous even when she hides it. Jealousy is messy. It's raw. And when you're secretly in love with someone, it becomes nearly impossible to hide completely. Let me introduce you to Caleb and Isha. They'd been inseparable since high school. Best friends through everything. But Caleb, like many guys, never imagined Isha saw him as more than a buddy. Until he started dating someone. Isha smiled when he told her. Said all the right things. She seemed sweet. I'm happy for you. She even liked the girl's pictures on Instagram. But Caleb noticed something. She texted less. Her replies got shorter. Her usual cheer when they hung out felt dulled. One day when he mentioned how well the date had gone, she laughed tightly and changed the subject, fast. The thing is, when someone secretly loves you, seeing you with someone else hurts. Even if they try to hide it with politeness, support, or even fake enthusiasm, the emotion leaks out in unexpected ways. Maybe she distances herself. Maybe her tone shifts. Maybe her smiles don't reach her eyes anymore. Jealousy, when born from hidden love, isn't about being possessive, it's about heartbreak. It's watching someone you care for get close to someone else while you sit in silence, pretending it's fine. If you notice her mood shift every time you talk about other girls, or if she suddenly withdraws when romance comes up, it's not disinterest. It's a quiet storm behind her eyes, a storm she doesn't know how to name. Sign number 7, she's there, even when she doesn't have to be. Love doesn't always show up with grand gestures. Sometimes it just shows up, quietly, consistently, especially when it's inconvenient. No one knew this better than Maya. When her close friend Karen lost his job, most people sent kind messages or gave him space. Maya, she was at his doorstep with takeout, a blanket, and a playlist she made just for him. Thought you could use a comfort kit, she said with a soft smile. Karen was touched but confused. They weren't that close anymore. Their chats had become less frequent, mostly due to life getting in the way. But here she was, first to text, first to call, first to show up. And it didn't stop there. When his grandmother fell ill, she was the one checking in daily. When he had to move apartments, she volunteered to help even though she had exams. When he broke down one night over everything piling up, she didn't flinch. She just sat with him. No judgment, no agenda, just presence. Love, especially the kind that's kept secret, often reveals itself through actions rather than words. When a girl is always there, especially when she doesn't have to be, it's not random kindness. It's care. It's hope. It's her way of staying close to you without risking a confession. Because showing up for someone again and again requires emotional investment. And you don't invest like that in just anyone. So if she keeps being there for you, even when it's hard, awkward, or inconvenient, ask yourself why. It might be because she's already chosen you. She's just waiting to see if you'll notice. Sign number 8, she finds reasons to touch you. You can learn a lot about someone's feelings by how they touch you or how they find ways to. Take Neil and Zara. They worked in retail together, always on their feet, constantly in motion. And yet there were these moments. When Neil made a joke, Zara would laugh and gently touch his arm. Not just once, every time. When they stood close, she'd adjust the sleeve of his shirt or brush something imaginary off his collar. During team outings, she always found her seat beside him. If they were walking, her shoulder would graze his now and then. At first, Neil thought she was just affectionate. Some people are. But over time, he noticed it only happened with him. Touch is one of the most ancient, intuitive ways humans communicate affection. When someone's secretly in love but too scared to say it, touch becomes their voice. It's not about being flirty or crossing boundaries. It's often subtle, tender, measured, but deeply meaningful. A hand on your back, a playful shove, fixing your hair, holding on a little longer during a goodbye hug. These aren't empty gestures. They're bridges. They're moments where her heart speaks through her fingers. I care. I'm here. I wish you knew. So pay attention to those soft touches. They might be the most honest words she's never said. Sign number 9. She shares her world with you. When someone opens the door to their inner world, their past, their dreams, their fears, it's not casual. It's trust. And when that someone is a girl who seems guarded with everyone else, that's even louder. Rhea was the kind of girl who smiled through everything. Smart, ambitious, always had a comeback. Most people thought she was an open book, but she wasn't. Until Sahil. It started with late-night conversations about movies and music. But soon those chats got deeper. One night, out of nowhere, she told him about her childhood, the good, the bad, the parts she usually left out, about her dad walking out when she was 10, about how she learned to act fine so no one would worry. Another time, she admitted how scared she was of failing, not in school but in life. How she kept her dreams small so disappointment wouldn't hurt so much. She laughed after sharing all this, like she hadn't just revealed her soul. I don't know why I'm telling you this, she said. I never tell anyone this stuff. But Sahil knew, and so did she. Because love, especially the hidden kind, starts with emotional intimacy. When she lets you into the private rooms of her heart, she's not just being friendly. She's saying, I trust you with the parts of me that no one else gets to see. It's easy to share surface-level things, but when she shares her fears, her hopes, The things that keep her up at night, that's love speaking through vulnerability. If she's letting you see the real her behind the mask, she's not just opening up, she's inviting you in. Sign number 10. She always finds a way to be around you. Love doesn't always come with a declaration. Sometimes it comes with presence. Silent, steady, deliberate presence. Like it did with Mira. Jay had known Mira since college. Same friend group, same classes, occasional chats. Nothing dramatic. But somewhere along the way, he noticed something curious. She was always there. At every group dinner, she'd sit near him. At every house party, she'd wander to wherever he was standing. Even when plans were vague, like, we're all thinking of checking out that new place. Saturday, she'd be the first to say, "Is Jay going?" It wasn't clingy. It wasn't obvious. In fact, if you weren't looking closely, you'd think it was coincidence. But Jay started seeing the pattern. She was there when he needed help moving. She showed up to cheer him on during a low-stakes open mic he barely promoted. She somehow ended up volunteering for the same community event he signed up for last minute. And every time she'd play it casual. "Oh, I figured I'd try something new." Or, "I didn't have anything better going on." But Jay began to realize she made the time. She adjusted her schedule. She rearranged plans. Not because she didn't have options, but because for her, being around him was the choice. That's what love looks like when it's afraid to speak. It finds proximity. She might not text you paragraphs confessing her heart, but she'll show up at the same parties. She'll join the same projects. She'll walk with you a little longer after class or offer to help. You study just for fun, because being near you without pressure, without labels, lets her stay connected. It lets her hope. So if you find her orbiting your world more often than logic can explain, it might not be coincidence. It might be love softly begging to stay close. Sign number 11. She's your biggest cheerleader, in the quietest ways. Some girls will scream your name from the rooftops. Others, they'll whisper encouragement so sincerely it leaves a permanent mark on your heart. That's how it was with Veer and Kavya. Veer was quiet, a bit of a loner, always working on something in the background. Music, mostly. Songs he'd never play for anyone. But Kavya noticed. She always noticed. Once, in the middle of a conversation about unrelated things, she said, "I really hope you never stop making music." The world needs more of that. It was so unexpected, so precise that it threw him off. He hadn't told many people. He didn't promote it. But somehow she knew. Later, when he finally posted a song online, she was the first to comment. Not something generic like "nice," but "this is honest and beautiful. Keep going." She wasn't loud about it. She didn't make a scene. But every time he doubted himself, there she was, reminding him who he was, even when he forgot. That's what secret love often looks like. Support, subtle but unwavering. She might not be waving pom-poms, but she'll be in your corner, quietly watching your wins, quietly hurting during your losses. She'll text you after a tough day with, "I believe in you." She'll remember your interview date and wish you luck without being asked. She'll send you songs that sound like hope and tell you, "This reminded me of you." Love, when it's afraid, hides behind encouragement, behind belief, behind, "You've got this." And if she's always cheering you on, even when there's nothing in it for her, look again. She might be holding back a love that's already been yours. Sign number 12. She gets quiet when you talk about other girls. You're telling her about this girl you met. You think it's just friendly chatter, but she suddenly grows quiet. Her smile thins. Her laughter fades. Her responses turn short. And you wonder, did I say something wrong? That's exactly what happened with Akash and Dia. They were close. He confided in her about everything. His work stress, his family problems, and yes, the girls he was dating. And Dia always listened. Supportive, kind, never judgmental. But he noticed something. Whenever he talked about someone he liked, even casually, Dia's warmth dimmed. She didn't make a scene, didn't criticize, but she'd look down more, fidget with her phone, or offer a polite, "She sounds nice," that didn't quite land. One day, after a long conversation about a new girl he was seeing, Dia simply said, "I'm happy for you," with a voice so flat it echoed in his chest. That's when it hit him. Love, when unspoken, has a breaking point. When you love someone in silence, hearing them get excited about someone else feels like swallowing glass. You can't protest, you have no claim, but it still cuts, still aches, still leaves you wondering if you'll ever be the one they talk about that way. So she pulls back, goes quiet. Not because she doesn't care, but because she cares too much. If the girl who always chats with you suddenly becomes a ghost in the conversation, when romance comes up, don't ignore that silence. It might be love breaking its own heart to protect yours. Sign number 13. She compliments you in unexpected ways. Compliments aren't always about how you look or what you do. Sometimes they go deeper. They touch on the things that matter most to us, the parts we don't always show. Take Nikhil and Priya. Nikhil was a practical guy, always on time, always organized, always dependable. He never thought much about his personality. He knew he was a good friend, but he wasn't flashy, wasn't the life of the party. But Priya? She always noticed. One day, after Nikhil helped her with a tough project at work, she turned to him and said, "You know, I really admire how you stay calm. Even when things get crazy, you always seem to know how to handle it." It wasn't a compliment about his looks. It wasn't about his achievements or his success. It was about his character, about the things Nikhil valued but never thought anyone else paid attention to. Priya did this often. When they had a casual conversation, she'd pick up on little details about his habits, his values, his way of seeing the world. "I love how you always make people feel heard. It's a rare quality." Or, "You really inspire people without even trying." To Nikhil, these compliments felt different. They were about who he was at his core, not what the world saw. They were a subtle acknowledgement of his soul, not his status. And here's the thing. When someone loves you in secret, they'll find the most meaningful ways to compliment you. It's not about flattering you with shallow words. It's about lifting you up in ways that show they see the real you. So if she compliments your character, your strength, your kindness, or something else you don't hear often, it's because she's already in love with the version of you that's hidden beneath the surface. Sign number 14, she's protective of you, but in a quiet way. Love often comes with a sense of protectiveness. But when a girl is too afraid to express her feelings, that protectiveness shows up quietly, like a soft shield around your heart. Let's talk about Shreya and Anil. Anil was an easygoing guy and he loved spending time with his friends. But one evening at a bar, someone made a joke at his expense, a joke that was a little too personal, a little too mean-spirited. Anil laughed it off, he always did. But Shreya, who had been standing nearby, saw the discomfort in his eyes. It was subtle the way she reacted. She didn't confront the person who made the joke. She didn't make a scene. Instead, she quietly moved closer to Anil, standing by his side and touching his arm. She said something just between them that made him smile. A small reassurance that the comment didn't matter. It was a quick, subtle moment, but it was enough. Later, when Anil mentioned the incident, Shreya was unusually quiet. She didn't bring it up herself, but she did make sure to check in, offering extra kindness and attention. Her protectiveness wasn't loud. It wasn't overbearing, but it was there like an invisible force watching over him. When a girl loves you but is afraid to admit it, her protectiveness shows in small, unspoken ways. She won't shout at people who hurt you, but she'll be there when you need support. She'll take on a quiet role of watching out for you, not because you asked, but because she cares in ways words can't express. If she steps in when you're struggling, without making a scene, without drawing attention, that's a sign that her heart is already yours. She's silently protecting what matters to her, even if she can't say it out loud. Sign number 15, she gets excited over your success but struggles to express it. Success should be something we celebrate together. But when someone secretly loves you, their excitement is often wrapped in layers of quiet pride, mixed with a bit of pain. That's how it was with Kabir and Tanya. Tanya and Kabir had known each other for years, but their relationship had always been platonic. Tanya had always been the confident, outgoing one. She had no trouble celebrating other people's victories. But with Kabir, it was different. When Kabir landed a job at his dream company, Tanya was the first person he told. She smiled and congratulated him, but there was something in her eyes that made Kabir pause. It wasn't just happiness. There was a deep, unspoken pride mixed with something else, something quieter, more vulnerable. Over the next few weeks, Tanya's excitement was evident in small, unspoken ways. She texted him whenever she saw news related to the company. "I saw something on TV today about your company. It's doing amazing things." Or when they met for coffee, she'd say, "I'm so proud of you. You really deserve this." But it was always subtle, never grand, never over the top. She didn't make a big show of it. She didn't throw him a party or brag about his success to others. Her pride in him was quiet, personal, like a secret that only she knew how to hold. When someone secretly loves you, they'll celebrate your victories, but they'll often do so quietly. They'll cheer you on without making it obvious. They'll feel deeply proud of you, but they won't demand recognition for their feelings. If you ever feel like someone is quietly thrilled by your successes, genuinely happy, yet not making it a spectacle, it's a good sign that they've been holding space for you in their heart for a long time. And maybe, just maybe, they're waiting for the day when their love will finally be spoken aloud. So if you're watching this right now, thinking about that one girl, the one who sends mixed signals, who feels like she's half yours but never says it, look again. Look for these signs. Listen between the lines. And if you see even 5 or 6 of these, maybe it's time to stop waiting. Because love doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers. Before we wrap up, let me ask you, did any of these signs remind you of someone? If so, don't keep that thought to yourself. Drop a comment and share your story. And if this video made you think or feel something, hit that like button. It helps more than you know. And don't forget to subscribe for more insights like this. Love's complicated, but it doesn't have to be a mystery. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.